So with the recent passing of Muhammad Ali, who's known as the greatest boxer of all time, I decided to dedicate this episode to him because I think everybody has a Muhammad Ali story. Every single person I know somehow, some way has an Ali story. I used to watch with my kids when I was a kid. I used to watch it. Everyone's got some kind of a story with Ali. And to me, I have my own, but I'm going to talk about, 10 lessons we can all learn as entrepreneurs from Muhammad Ali. And one by one, I'll explain each of them to you on why I say that. Let me start off with the first one. The first one is standing up for your beliefs. This is a man that had certain values and principles that he stood up for. And it was real principles that he stood up for and was very vocal about it. And everybody knew, but it didn't matter what it was. He did not have a problem standing up for his beliefs on what he believed. I think too often, most of us don't have real rock solid beliefs that we would give our life to, let alone go do prison time for it. And this was a man that was not willing to compromise anything with the values and principles that he had to himself, even if it meant him not being able to box for 5 years and going and doing time. He was able to do that. I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs that can learn from that to really ask the question of, really, what are you running a business for? What are you really doing this business for? Is it just about the money part? Because that's pretty easy. Is it just about the accolades and the fame? What are some real core values and principles that you have that you're willing to fight for till the very end? Take a moment, actually write those things down and see if it gets a heartbeat, see if it gets you to be getting emotional. Because it got him very, very emotional when he had to compromise certain things that he believed in. So that's the first thing we can all learn from. Second thing, take advantage of your platform to make a difference in the world. He took advantage of his platform, which was boxing, and he used that to talk about his crusade, to talk about why I don't want to go to war, because why would I want to go over there and kill other kids and other people when I don't believe in the war that's taking place in the first place? He took his platform to talk about issues that were taken at that time with racism. He took his platform to talk about certain beliefs that he had in his faith. He took that platform to get people to, get in shape. He used his platform for a bigger reason. I think in today's world, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that do this right, but a lot of times people are too afraid to touch their platform for a bigger cause because it may hurt them, their business-wise. This guy wasn't afraid to do that because it was more than just money to him. It was about, I really want to make a difference in the world. And that's one of the reasons why he was crowned Sports Illustrated, I think, top 100. They put him as number one, the sportsmanship of the century is what he got recognized. I want to say in 1999. He's been on the cover of Sports Illustrated, I think 38 times. And there's a reason for that. He used his platform for bigger purposes. Number 3, be vocal. He was vocal. He was very, very vocal. He did not have a problem saying what was on his mind, even at times when it got him in trouble. He was a pretty vocal guy to say what was on his mind. And it was one of the things that either got him in trouble, and it was one of the things that also got conversations to be had that maybe nobody had the guts to bring up. And so people started talking about it on the media. Then the American people started having these conversations at the dinner table. And I know a lot of times you'll get counsel and say, well, don't be vocal or don't be this or don't. If it's just to create ruckus because you just want to kind of say something else, lightweight opinions, things like that, no. But if it's something that's true core value, lots of time that you've put into it, you want to be vocal about it in a positive change, not negative breaking down, positive change, then use your platform to do that. And he was very vocal about what he did. Number 4, do not be afraid to get your ass handed to you. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. A lot of people want to talk about Mayweather. I'm the greatest boxer of all time, Mayweather. And if you look at Ali's record, I'm just going to say this. I haven't done my exact number. I want to say he lost 5 times. How many times did Ali lose? I want to say he lost, there it is. Okay, he lost 5 times in his career. Think about this. Here is a man who is the greatest boxer of all time. He had 61 fights and he lost 5 times. He lost 5 times. Ali, the greatest boxer of all time. The reason why he has by far so much more respect from the boxing world than Mayweather is, Mayweather never fought people at their peak. And I know I have a lot of Mayweather friends, so I know I'm going to get comments on the bottom here with Mayweather fans. And you don't know Mayweather is the greatest of all time. I get it. I mean, I'm more of a Roy Jones fan in the first place than I am Mayweather. But Ali was willing to fight people and potentially get his butt kicked. You got to have a certain level of respect for that. I think sometimes just taking as an entrepreneur, sometimes people are afraid to take a risk because what if I get my, knocked out? What if I lose? What if I do this? He was not afraid of getting knocked out. He just wanted to know, am I the greatest? Let me get in the ring and see what happens. Oh my gosh, this guy's punching strong Joe Frazier. Who is this guy? Holy moly, he fought George Foreman at his peak. If you look at Foreman when he fought him, listen, Foreman wasn't beating people. Foreman was hospitalizing people, is what he was doing. There's a video when Foreman and Ali got into a fight. There's a video where Foreman's hitting this back, and he did this intentionally with the media to see it. And you literally see, Elia, why don't we put that picture in there? You literally see the dent he put in this boxing bag from the punches he was putting, because he wanted to say, this is what I'm going to do to your ribs, Ali. This is what I'm going to do to your ribs. And he hurt Ali, even though he won the fight. Ali won the fight. There's got to be a respect for Ali to not be afraid to get knocked out. Sometimes as an entrepreneur, you got to go to those meetings. You got to go meet with certain people and get your butt handed to you and not be afraid, because you have to pick yourself up and say, man, I'm really not good yet. I thought I was good, but I'm not. I need to get better right now, immediately. And that's what Ali did. The fifth point I would say that we can learn from him as an entrepreneur is he was extremely competitive. When I went to Kentucky Derby, I love the Derby. I think it's a very good experience. Everybody needs to go. I've gone there multiple times. It's in Louisville, Kentucky. And when you go there, Louisville, Kentucky is known for a couple different things. They have the Louisville Slugger where they make the baseball bats, and it's really cool because you see how they make the bats. And literally a block, maybe 2 blocks away from there is the Muhammad Ali Museum. It's about 100,000 square feet. When you go to this Muhammad Ali Museum, and at this museum, you'll learn a lot about Ali. You see the Rolls Royce, you see the car, you see all this other stuff, and you hear everybody what they said about him, how competitive this kid was, how bad he wanted to fight, how much of a competitor he was. He just couldn't help himself but want to compete so bad. He just wanted to beat you, and he wasn't right all the time. But truly, he had such a high level of competitive drive that in itself was attractive. And I think as entrepreneurs, when you look at some of the guys that eventually end up crushing it at the very highest level, like a Larry Ellison or some of these other guys, you better believe these are some of the most competitive people you'll ever meet in your life. That happens in the world of entrepreneurship. Elon Musk, go read his book, go study him, go study that guy. One of the most competitive people you'll ever meet. They want to compete. There is this notion that competition isn't healthy because it gives you anxiety and panic attack and all this other stuff. You know who's that been said by? You know who says things like that? People who lost. People who lost and didn't work out. People who tried to build a business and didn't work for them. So they want to tell everybody else competition is bad because it's cover up their own failures. Don't listen to that. If you want to chase something and do something very big, you got to learn from the people that are absolute competitors. You can learn that from Ali. Number 6, watch your association. If you look at Ali, we can put some of the pictures here on who his association was. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's Pele, whether it's, he's sitting there as a Muslim having a conversation with Billy Graham and Billy Graham's wife, and Billy Graham is laughing here at a conversation they're having. He's been on shows, he's had talks with presidents, all these sorts of things. But in associations was always people that were ahead of him, and it always kept him sharper on what he was doing. So watching your association on who it is. Number 7, having faith. He was very faithful to his faith. I know faith is probably becoming less and less popular because a lot of people are going more towards the agnostic route or atheist, and I don't believe, and I'm this and I'm that. I don't think a God could exist. It's totally fine. I'm not here to change anybody's disposition there. To me, anybody I've studied that's done anything at a very, 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 very high scale. Very high scale. I'm not talking about someone who did good and went. No, I'm talking highest of levels. They have a certain faith in something bigger that's going to take care of them. They have a certain faith in something that has a calling for them to do that's supernatural to most, that if you told it to the average person is going to laugh in their face and say, you're so foolish. You really believe that nonsense? You guys are such weak people to believe that. You would believe something like that? He had faith. And he was pretty vocal about his faith. And his faith played a very big role in him doing what he did in his life. He gave a lot of credit to his faith. So faith was a big part of it. As a business owner, I had a comment a couple weeks ago on Valuetainment. Somebody said, entrepreneurs don't need faith because faith is not going to get you out there. I will tell you, I work 100 hours a week, and I work like it's up to me, and I pray like it's up to the man upstairs, and I've been praying for courage, wisdom, tolerance, understanding since I was an atheist in September of 1997 when I joined the Army. And I was an atheist for the first 25 something years of my life. Faith played a very big role in the right things taking place in my life. It just kept happening. I felt like somebody was around me and watching over me. And you can learn a lot from that from Ali on how he is as well. Eighth is belief. Now let me tell you the belief on how I'll describe belief that's completely different than what you're thinking about. I'm not trying to say this guy believed in himself. There's a part where he talks about how he was so afraid to fight. He was so afraid of getting, he had this fear that he had to convince himself. And so he would talk about how sometimes when he would go, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest. These were affirmations he kept saying to himself because he didn't believe he was the greatest. I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest you've ever seen. You have no idea what, and he would go on and he would go into his rants. He was psyching himself out to believe that he was the greatest. And then he eventually believed that he was the greatest, and look what ends up happening to him. He ends up believing he's the greatest, and then everybody around the world calls him the greatest boxer, and many major credible publications considered him the greatest athlete of all time in the last 100 years. Athlete of all time in the last 100 years. And it had to do a lot with belief. Sometimes you're going out to the public, like, oh, I don't think they're going to buy from me. I don't think they're going to do this. I don't know if I'm going to get this person to want to go into business with me. I don't know. Why wouldn't they going to go into business with me? I'm the greatest. We're going to do something very big with our lives. They're going to go into business with us. Watch what we're going to do next 5 years. Watch what we're going to go get. Watch what, it's boom, 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 boom. Man, I believe it now. Man, other people are believing now. Man, now the industry's talking about it. Man, now we're validated. Now that could take 5-10 years. But you got to inject that self-affirming belief into you over and over and over again, where eventually this spirit, this body that you're with, actually believes in the words that are coming out of your mouth that are going to become a reality. Then you follow through with it. So he was a belief guy. Number 9, a student. One of the favorite things I saw when I went to the museum was there's a part of it you can shadow box Ali. It's really, really interesting when you go into the ring and you're shadow boxing Ali. Very cool exercise to do, but when you go to a certain area and you're going through and they went and interviewed everybody in this gym that he used to go and train at 14, 15 years old. And what they said is Ali was famous to going to the trainer as a student and asking them, who's the best in different areas? For instance, he would say, hey trainer, who's the best guy I can learn footwork from? He would say, that's the guy right there. Now that guy wasn't a good guy at uppercut, wasn't a good at defense, he wasn't good at his jab, he wasn't good at training, but he had great footwork. So Ali would go to the guy who was the best in footwork and he would learn footwork from him. Then he would say, hey, who's got the best training routine? Oh, he says, nobody trains better than that guy. Go learn the training routine from this guy. And he would learn only training from this guy. Hey, who's the most disciplined? Oh, disciplined? That guy right there. He would go and the guy would say, so before a fight, no sex, here's what you do with the girl after a day before you. And it was a discipline part. Oh, he picked it up from there. Who's the best at jab? Oh, that guy right there's got the perfect jab that he runs. He would go, hey, how do you throw your jab? He went to everybody and he learned their best strength in boxing and he put it all together, and then Muhammad Ali becomes who? The greatest boxer of all time. And he was thinking like this from 14 years old. And I think as entrepreneurs, you can also use this in your space on what you're doing. You can go out there and use it to find out who's the best recruiter you know. Who's the best on phone calls? Who's the best at attracting talent? Who's the best at speaking from stage that's duplicatable in a way that you can also do it yourself? Who's the best at negotiation? Who's the best at finances? Who's the best at operations? Who's the best at systems? Who's the best at scaling? Who's the best at knowing how to raise? It doesn't matter what it is. Go to people that are the best in different areas of the business, then take those areas and apply it to your business. Boom, you become the best in your space, whatever your space is that you're a part of. And the last one is somewhat contradictory, but it makes a whole lot of sense, is he was probably one of the best self-promoters of all time. Entrepreneurs sometimes have a hard time with self-promotion, and I'll tell you why, and maybe this will make sense to you in the area of self-promotion. So what is self-promotion? I'm the greatest. Self-promotion. I am the greatest. So think about that for a moment. Who's going to go around saying I'm the greatest, right? That's kind of like saying, I'm the best real estate agent in the local area here, and, I would love to earn your business and prove to you why I'm the greatest real estate agent in the local area. Who is this guy? Who talks like that? I consider myself one of the best, if not the best, loan officer in the area here. I consider myself the best in social media. One of the reasons why Gary Vaynerchuk does well on social media is not because he's the best guy on social media, it's because he's convinced the world he is. And so people keep going to him. Now, let me tell you, he's my number one on social media, but I know a lot of people that are very good. But he's a great self-promoter. He's an excellent self-promoter. Mark Cuban's an excellent self-promoter. Donald Trump is an excellent self-promoter. Our president is an excellent self-promoter. You go through history and find at the high. Jordan was a good self-promoter. These athletes are great self-promoters. Entrepreneurs who do well, you'll eventually see even Elon Musk is a great self-promoter. He eventually had to go into the PR world to get very good in that area. Sometimes you need to be a good self-promoter. But the part that it works for these guys when they become great self-promoters is they also deliver. So if you can, there are people that are very good in self-promotion, but they're not good in the delivery part of it, they become hypocrites. If you can master the art of self-promotion and delivery, you get saint status. And saint status is when everybody says, whatever that guy says you're going to do business, well, he's going to deliver. Whatever they say it's going to happen, go do business with them. That's the right type of person to be in business with. Then that's earning saint status. So the self-promotion part on what are you an expert in, get some street credit, get some, pep in your step, get some, confidence because you're finally really learning how to do that business and start talking that language a little bit and you'll start seeing a difference. This guy was not afraid of self-promoting himself as the greatest boxer of all time. And eventually, look what happens to him. So those are 10 of my thoughts that I had that we as entrepreneurs can learn a lot from Muhammad Ali. I'm a big Ali fan. I've watched, I think, every single one of his videos, documentaries that are out there. I love the way he talks smack. I love the way he worked with his opponents. I love his fights. When you go to this museum, you get to sit there and watch his greatest fights, whether it's Norton, Frazier, Foreman, and you're sitting there as if you're in the ring, the way they have it set up. But it's always great to study these great ones. And it's unfortunate that we lost him at 74 years old. But look what he did with his 74 years of his life, where he was an underdog and ended up being somebody that billions of people around the world know about. And why not you? Why not you go out there and impact the world the same way he did? So with that being said, Ilya, let's do the 100,000 subs. Listen, we got a goal, 100,000 subs on YouTube. And we keep promoting this because we believe this is by far the best how-to channel for entrepreneurs on YouTube. We believe that 100%. Pound for pound, we can go against anybody. I don't believe anybody on YouTube has the type of content that we have on Valuetainment. So if you haven't subscribed, we need you to help us get to 100,000 subs by August 31st of 2016. So please go click this button right here and subscribe and get your peers that are also entrepreneurs to subscribe here as well. And then on top of that, if you got any questions, comments about this, please post your comments on the bottom. If you got any Ali stories, I always love to hear Ali stories. Post your comments on the bottom as well about your Ali stories. And if you're watching this video on a completely different website that embedded our video, you can always go back to patrickbaydavid.com, boom, and see a bunch of other content and stay connected with me as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.